Okay, so it's 2026 and maybe you're looking to read more books this year, but you're daunted by just how long a lot of the books recommended online are, and you don't feel comfortable diving into a 700-page, 500-page book. So where do you start? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down some shorter reads, books you can read in just one day. I'm going to be talking about some classics as well as some works of modern fiction that I think you're going to love. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, first off, I'm going to go through two classics that I love to recommend to people. First is The Great Gatsby. Many people read this in school. There is a reason why it is regarded as an American fiction classic. It is a fast-moving story of fiction. It's kind of like a romantic story, but it's really about more than that. It's about paths not taken, the life you did not lead, and to what extent you can attempt to go back in time and change the decisions we made. I love this book. It's one of my favorite works of fiction of all time, and it is an incredibly fast read. There's a reason why it's taught in schools. It is something that you can definitely read within just a couple of hours if you actually sit down and set your mind to it. If you are somebody who's looking to read some of these classics, and this one is one of the particularly quicker reads. Next up, Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. This is among my favorite books ever written. It is a science fiction book about Billy Pilgrim who's stuck between times. He is abducted by aliens, but it's really less about the plot of this book. It's more about Kurt Vonnegut's semi-autobiographical depiction of his time at war during World War II and his experience as a prisoner of war during that period. Reading Vonnegut through the eyes of Billy Pilgrim, re-experience his time as a prisoner of war, is incredibly insightful. It's a very funny book. It is a very strange book. It's not going to be for everyone, the tone here, but it is another really quick read where you can crack through this if you are someone who's pulled in immediately, and you can easily move through this in an afternoon if you really wanted to. Okay, so now that we've talked about some of the classics, I wanted to give you a couple of really quickly read nonfiction books. The first is going to be Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer. This is it reads like a thriller. One of the best nonfiction sort of journalistic books I've ever read. This book is all about the 1996 Mount Everest disaster, where a sudden storm leads to a bunch of deaths, leads to chaos. People are fighting for their lives. It is gripping. It is terrifying. It feels like a movie come to life. You can easily rip through this one in just a day if you set your mind to it. The next one I recommend here is kind of a self-development book. It is called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. It is all about bringing Stoic teachings to modern life. Marcus Aurelius, the meditations practiced by him in his time as a leader many, many years ago in ancient times, and applying those lessons to sort of modern life and how those lessons have been applied throughout history by various different leaders who have borrowed the practices of Marcus Aurelius, and how you can apply those lessons to your life. I think a lot of these self-development books are pretty bad, but I think Ryan Holiday in particular does a great job of distilling complex teachings and historical teachings into modern life and distilling that in a way that's very easily digestible. So to wrap up this video, I'm going to give you a recommendation for three kind of science fiction thriller books. They're not all like fantasy Star Wars kind of books. Instead, they're more grounded sci-fi, because that's kind of what really appeals to me. I'm not somebody who loves a lot of the fantasy sci-fi stuff. So I'm going to start this off with The Murderbot Diaries. This is definitely the most out there of my recommendations. It's by Martha Wells. It's a series of books, actually. They're really, really quick reads. They're almost like novellas that you can rip through. It's 3 books, I believe, in the series. Perfect for just a day if you want to get through them. It's all about this security android who's given sentience, and he really doesn't want to help humans at all. He just wants to watch telenovelas or soap operas, but he keeps being pulled into the trappings of human life, and it leads to a lot of great stories. You may have seen that this has been turned into a television series on Apple TV Plus with one of the Skarsgårds, and there's a reason for that. This is a book that just translates well to the screen. It's such a quick read. All 3 of them are very quick reads. So if you want to just start one of them, rip through it, and then maybe save another for another day, it is something that can easily be one that you just read if you're on a long train ride, if you're on an airplane. This is one of those series that is perfectly fit for that. Next up, Project Hail Mary. This book gets recommended all the time, and there is, again, a reason for that. It's longer than a lot of the other books I'll recommend on here, but it reads really fast. There's a lot of dialogue. It's about a gentleman who wakes up in space millions of miles from home. He is a high school, or he's an elementary school science teacher, and he's trying to figure out how he got there. And they're turning this into a movie with Ryan Gosling for good reason. It is a funny read. The story is very compelling. There's a lot of twists. There's a lot of turns. It moves very, very quickly. And if you start reading this, Oftentimes, I've recommended this to people and they told me, you know, I finished that in 2 days. I finished that in a day. I just sat there and read through the whole thing because I was so pulled into the story. So check out Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir if that is something that sounds appealing to you. Okay, finally, I talked about The Great Gatsby. I talked about The Paths We Do Not Take. My final recommendation in that vein is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Another grounded sci-fi novel. It moves really quickly, feels like a movie. They turned this into a television series on Apple TV Plus as well. But the reason that it is so appealing, and then what I really love about this book, is that it's not about some sort of crazy sci-fi theory. It's all about alternative timelines, sort of the paths not taken. There are a lot of things in conversation with The Great Gatsby here. It's not obviously that sort of love story, that sort of classic literature feel, but it reads more like a movie and it borrows a lot of that, incorporating some sci-fi elements to tell you a very compelling story that just grips you. And you can easily read this in just a day if you sit down and crack at it. Okay, so I hope this book was helpful to you if you're somebody who is turned off by a lot of the longer recommendations that I give out, that other people give out. All of these books can easily be read within a day if you set your mind to it. So be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos on book recommendations, what I'm reading, what I'm looking forward to reading. Until later, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye now.